All right, hi everybody. Shanda here with the Wedding Planning Club, and today I have a special guest online with me. He works for a company that has a really powerful solution for all those RSVP problems that we've been talking about. RSVPs have gotten a little more complicated recently. There's extra events, there's plus ones, there's additional guests, and this is a way to solve this problem digitally with just a really, really powerful tool. So I'm super excited to introduce you to Travis Granger with RSVPify. So Travis, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing really good. I know you've been a little under the weather, so I really appreciate you hanging in there and doing this demonstration with us today.
Absolutely. I apologize in advance, as I'm sure I will need to clear my throat a few times, but happy to be here. And thanks for the introduction. Yes, so RSVPify is the most powerful guest list management product up on the market. What's great about us is that we work seamlessly with offline and online invitations. So we don't require you to use this your website. We work seamlessly with folks at the Knot, Wedding Wire, etc. A lot of folks use us with paper invitations, etc. But it's really a great solution for those who want a way of, want the nostalgia of sending out those traditional wedding invitations, but really would like a 21st century tool for actually managing their guest list and dealing with the various edge cases inherent in wedding planning. So with that, I'm happy to do a demo today and kind of show you guys the power of the product, a few examples of some of the forms we use and what the guest experience will be like, also the experience of the hosts themselves. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, and I would love that, because one of the things I love about your tool is it is so powerful and it has so many different features. I mean, it from what I've seen so far, it has every bell and whistle I could ask for. And I know I'm personally planning a really complicated wedding with all kinds of events and options, and I was really excited to see your tool. And I think to really see the power of it, you got to get in and see how it works. I'm really excited.
Yeah, you really do. And so as we go through it, if there's a specific edge case or situation that your wedding is, going through, and you're not sure how RSVPify would handle that, feel free to just stop me and I can go through and kind of walk you through it.
I will. All right, let's dig in.
All righty. Let's see if I can get the screen share set up. All right, are we good to go?
You're good to go. I see your screen.
Great. So here's our marketing site and our webpage. And one thing we didn't mention before is that RSVPify is actually free, albeit without premium features, for any event that requires less than 100 RSVPs. And so it's a really great free option for smaller weddings, or for baby shower, or even a bridal shower. So something to think about there. You can view our plans and pricing for larger events on our plans page. But so to get started, I'm just going to actually sign up for a free account and kind of show you guys what it would be like for you if you create your own account from scratch. Although I will say that I'm already logged in. So let's see if I can sign out and create a free one. Sign up. Here we go.
So this is you creating one, like a brand new bride coming in, starting from scratch?
Starting from scratch.
Wonderful. Thank you for doing this.
Sure. I'm not a robot. Let's see. It might make me do some annoying stuff. Okay, we're good to go. All right, so now that we're in, the very first thing you're going to want to do is create your event, which obviously is clicking right there. You pick your type of event. For the Wedding Planning Club, the majority of the audience there is going to be wedding. And just ask for some really simple information. The name of your event would be, your wedding. You can call it whatever you'd like. All of this can be changed later. You can set your date. And this is a custom RSVPify URL. So this is where you're actually going to be sending your guests to submit their RSVP for your event.
It's nice. I just had this thought, is if a bride and groom have a hashtag, they could use that same hashtag there to keep everything.
That's a good idea.
Keep it consistent.
Sure. All right, so now you're in. It brings you directly to this setup page, where this is where you really want to get started. Here are the general options. You'll see all things. You can always change your URL if you'd like, or the hashtag, as you mentioned, if you come up with something clever later down the date. Change your event name or date and all of that. There's also some various options here around guest email address, maximum guests, and you can also update the text for what folks will actually be seeing when they're accepting or declining to your event. This is just a very, very basic intro here. Over here on the left, you'll see things that are secondary events. Well, it sounds a little complicated. Secondary events is actually one of our most powerful features. It allows you to invite subsets of your overall guest list to kind of special or VIP type of events. And when you don't want everyone to be able to RSVP to those. So an example, or an obvious example for a wedding would be a rehearsal dinner. You wouldn't want everyone who's going through the RSVP form to be seeing the rehearsal dinner or seeing a brunch on Sunday if they weren't actually invited, because that would just be ugly. So we do it in a very seamless way, and I'll be sure to show you guys some details about that and how to go about setting that up from here. In terms of the form design, this is one area on this free account I wanted to show everyone. There's two layouts you can really choose from in terms of what you look like, and just kind of give you guys a sense. We can just go and just demo what this specific account basically will look like at the very end or very start. So this is the basic layout for the try module. The simple banner is a little different, so I can get that and show that as well. Just give you the various styles you can do, but all of this is completely customizable. So what you'll do here is this is kind of your welcome text of what you're going to say to your guests. Some folks provide a lot of information about their event or the story of how they met if they wanted to. A lot of people will upload actually a really nice, if they want to design PDFs or hire a designer to do a PDF, they'll upload those here and just upload that image right above the step one. So it'll actually look really great.
Wow.
Let's see if I can actually just do a quick one. This is live and on the fly, so it could be a little dangerous.
Oh, that's always fun.
All right, let's see. This is a screenshot I took of your website earlier. Let's see if it loads up. So you can actually crop it however you'd like. So if it's doing this for a simple banner, we'll see how it actually looks or not. I have an actual one set up for us, but I figure I would show folks about how this might actually look if you were to upload a digital invitation. So you can put images there. You can imagine if that was designed well, it would look nice. All the button can be the button gradients and colors. All the fonts are completely customizable.
Wow, this is awesome.
In the trifold here, this font and messaging is all customizable as well. And the way you go about doing all of that is around here. So you can actually change the header into an image. You can actually put it in the text themselves. So we had before, if I went back to the try module layout, all of these will dynamically update down here. And the nice thing here is that this page will save in real time. So any change you actually make to the color gradient, whatever it might be, it automatically saves. So you can see down here in the corner, it says your changes have been saved. You can update your header text and all that. All this is from within the application here. So this is your basic form of what folks will see as they go through. This isn't necessarily the power of the product, but this is where the aesthetics come in of how it'll actually look. You can customize look and feel.
And this can be used on a mobile device, I'm hoping?
Absolutely. And the whole product is mobile friendly. I will say you'll have a better experience setting up from the desktop, but the guest RSVP experience is just as seamless on mobile as it is via desktop.
Good.
Here we have yeah, absolutely. And here we have the appetizers and entrees. If you wanted to add a dessert, you can actually do that via the custom questions field, which I'll get to in a second. You can add as many options as you'd like for your guests to choose from.
Wow.
Custom questions are important too. If you want to ask, are you going to be needing a ride from the ceremony to the reception? Or if you want to ask, do you have any dietary restrictions? You can ask questions at the group level or party level. You have to actually upgrade. This is actually a premium feature, and I'm in a free account.
Okay.
The confirmation page. This is what your guests will see after they've RSVP'd. You can put a custom message in here. There's a lot of other details here, which I'll go through in a minute. That actually you can add a link to your registry. You can add a save the date or calendar invite, so folks can load the calendar invite into their personal calendar. Emails and notifications. This is what your guests are going to be receiving when they actually RSVP for your event. So they'll receive a confirmation email letting them know that they've RSVP'd. And for upgraded accounts, you can actually personalize that message, add details, directions to the venue, things of that nature. And you yourself can set up your notification preferences so that you get an alert when somebody actually RSVPs to your event. And then lastly, I know there's two more things in here, and I'm going through very, very quickly, but you know,
I love the overview.
Support library of stuff. So if anyone has any questions, we can go through this in great detail. We have very active support channels as well to help you guys get set up and manage this event. So in here, folks can password protect their event if they want. They have the ability to password protect the entire event with a single password, maybe the hashtag as you mentioned earlier, or you can actually set individual party passcodes for every individual guest themselves. And lastly, this is kind of the advanced setting. You have the ability to customize what titles you'd like your guests to be able to respond to. Just recently, we had someone request an MX period, so you can actually add additional titles. Max acceptances if you want to limit the size of your event. If this is probably not relevant for US-based weddings, but for corporate events, they like that. And then here in the language, this allows you to actually change to foreign languages. So if your guests are not native English speakers and you want to provide a form for them in their native language, it's easily done here. You actually can customize every single text field in the form. So if you didn't want to say your first name, you want to say that your name or whatever you really would like, all of these are all custom. Every error message, every note your guests would see through the process, you're able to actually change the text that they would be displayed.
You know, I love that because I think it's an opportunity to really add some personality to your wedding, and I think that's a wonderful feature.
For sure. So if you would pause for a second, I'll switch over to the other accounts.
Sure.
That where I've kind of already set up a live event, so we don't have to go from scratch.
Okay. All right. Hold on one second. All right, we're back.
Awesome. So yeah, sorry if that was a little rushed. Again, that was just supposed to give you guys an overview of what the product's like and where to find various setup features. One thing I forgot to mention before when I was going through this is obviously here's this main navigation up here at the front. I spent a lot of time earlier in the setup. But the rest of your event is going to be really spent through other elements of the application. We have the RSVPs dashboard. This is kind of the overview of the responses you're going to be receiving, your accepts and declines. Down at the bottom will populate the actual RSVPs as folks actually start submitting.
Now, is this, real quick, oh, I see the RSVP secondary events. Okay, I see that. I wasn't sure which event this RSVP was for.
For sure. So this is one that kind of set up for this. You can see Wedding Planning Club, like a demo that I set up. Okay. You'll get counts for the menu options that folks are selecting, as well as counts on the secondary events if you set those up, or the custom questions. And all of this can be saved and exported so that you can have this data for you in Excel or whatever file you really need it in.
Wonderful.
And so another common area is kind of like the guest list is really where the power of the product comes into play. So I'd love to go through that and actually kind of set this up here. So folks often ask, like, how do I add a party or a guest, or can I add a +1? I don't want everyone to have a +1. How do I handle this? And we are officially wedding crasher proof here at RSVPFI. It's one of the things we pride ourselves on. And so you can certainly add parties individually. This can be a little painful if you're doing a large event. But if you want to add a few ad hoc guests, it wouldn't be an issue at all. Just adding them through here, you can add a +1. Over here, you can actually choose, are they actually going to be invited to a secondary event as well? So all this can be done through in here as well.
You know, Travis, quick question. This might be something you're about to cover, so I apologize. Sure. But let's say you're inviting a husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend. Would they be counted like as one line item, but 2 guests, or would you list them individually? Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. So if you were to add a party of 2, and this would be Mr. and Mrs. Escoda, you put that, you list them as separate. Now, if I didn't actually know the name of your fiance, and I don't believe I do.
His name's Peter.
Peter. Well, I didn't know that until just now.
You didn't know that till just now, so his name's Peter West, if you want to use this as an example.
So I would put you in here, and I would actually just put +1.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is when you're RSVPing and you put your name in, it's going to ask you to RSVP for yourself as well as the guest of you. And you'll actually edit that person's name as the RSVPer during the RSVP process. so that the event host knows the name of the guest that you're bringing. But if you do know the name of the guest that you're actually inviting, you don't have to have guest hub. You can just add them as a normal guest.
Okay, so let's say you are good friends with both Peter and myself, and you want us both we're both listed on the invitation. How would you set that up in the RSVP part?
Sure.
Okay, party of 2.
Party of 2. Mr. Peter, I forget the last name.
West.
And you're both good friends, so you get to go to the rehearsal dinner. And so what happens now is either of you can actually RSVP. The system will look up based on the first and last name of the person who's RSVPing, and whether it's you or your fiance, it will allow you to RSVP for your party.
Oh, that's wonderful. So like I would be able to go there and our names are already connected and I could just say yes for both of us. And
absolutely.
That's so nice.
There's no stress for your guests of knowing, was I invited or am I the primary guest? There's none of that. We cut all of that out.
Wow, that's awesome. And I like that our names are already connected and we're not, because otherwise if they're separate, you never know who's going to actually go in there and RSVP and try to add someone, and it gets confusing.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wow, that's awesome.
And so one other thing I wanted to show here is, like, obviously, or at least I wouldn't, if I had a guest list of 300 people, want to do it myself. So we actually enable you to upload them in like an Excel spreadsheet, which is much more manageable for folks who are dealing with a larger email address.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, importantly, you want to follow, like, it has to follow our format, otherwise the system won't accept your form.
Right.
As long as you, and we have samples you can download right here, for example. You'll just download to your desktop and you can start working within that. But I've already gone ahead and created one of these. Actually, I can just show you right here. This is what it looks like. I just did it in Google Sheets. Obviously, it'd be much longer for a larger party. The only thing that folks often have questions on is the party ID. What this enables the system to know is who's RSVPing together. So for that instance where I actually created a party of 2 and put you and Peter's name, this is the equivalent of doing that, so that the system knows, okay, these 2 should be RSVPing together.
That makes sense. So if we're both guest 65, we're both going to have number 65 on our party number.
Absolutely. But if you're going to bring, 3 kids and grandma and all of that, all of them are going to be 65.
Awesome. Okay, that makes sense.
And then for here, anyone who gets a +1, you just simply put yes. And the system will automatically upload them or recognize them as a +1.
Okay. And then of course, once you import all that, if you make some changes, you can just go into the system and update it individually for each guest.
Absolutely.
Okay. Nice.
And you can do multiple uploads if you have different tiers of guests, or you're not sure based on the yield you're going to get.
Yeah. So if you invite 50 guests and then a month later we add 20 more, we just can add another spreadsheet. It doesn't override what's already there.
Nope, not at all. And so make sure everything's here. If you're assigning a title, most folks for weddings do because of the formality. Make sure that that's all checked, and then you can push complete import, and it'll automatically have your guest list already, right? It'll auto-populate right here.
Wonderful.
And then, one other thing I wanted to do too is one thing that RSPFI allows you to do, which I think is actually one of our coolest, although it's not very powerful a feature, I think it's a really cool feature, is that you can actually create custom messages for individual parties. So if someone important to you is actually going to be RSVPing, you can actually welcome them to the RSVPing experience, thanking them for RSVPing and just telling how excited you are to hopefully see them at your event.
Wait, this is an individual message for that specific person?
Absolutely.
Like you can say, I can't wait to see my 3rd grade friend at my wedding, and it's for that person? That's
absolutely
amazing.
And you can actually even include an image. So this is actually why I had originally put up that wedding planning club, is because I can actually upload images to this as well. So if you got pictures of the couple and the people who are invited to the wedding as kids or whatever it might be, you can actually really personalize this, which really brings a personal element to an otherwise digital online RSVP process. Okay,
so I am really big on making everything super personal about a wedding. I think that's one of the loving touches you can bring to it. And I'm already thinking for my wedding, which is only about 6 months away, I'm going to make it a goal to take like a selfie with as many friends as I can to include right there. Just make sure I have a picture for as many guests as I can. What a wonderful little surprise that would be after the
Yeah,
RSVP.
and I'm telling you, they'll love it. So,
Oh yeah, that's so neat.
so
What
why
a
don't
cool feature. I
yeah,
love
I
it.
know. Yeah, I'm excited to demo it for you guys. Now, one of the things I want to show or talk about here is how it actually works. You know, if you uploaded emails, you do have the ability to send invitations via email with our invitations tool. So this will actually send your guests, if you've included their emails, you can customize the message here, and they'll get the RSVP button. They'll click on the button, and it'll bring them to your RSVPs forms URL. You don't have to use this tool, but it is an option for folks who want to invite some folks digitally. You know, maybe some folks who are choosing to send traditional wedding invites. When it gets closer to the date, they realize they've had a lower yield and they want to add a few folks, so they'll send an email instead. And what's great here is if you actually have a digital copy of your paper invitation, like lots of folks have now from their vendors, you can upload that as an image so that your digital invitations actually will match your paper ones.
And I know our focus is on weddings, but obviously your service is good for any kind of event. And there's so many events you're invited to electronically, so that would be
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
wonderful for
A lot
casual
of
birthdays,
folks,
graduations. Yeah.
I would say probably the most popular users of the actual invitation tool itself will be, bridal showers or baby showers. And they'll often use this for that. Just want to quickly show here too the email. You have the ability later in the event to actually email those guests who's actually RSVP'd or accepted your invite, so that if things were to change or location change, or you want to tell them about more additional details, you can say accepted to the rehearsal dinner. You can really get at the folks very easily of who you want to target your communications to when it comes time closer to the actual event.
What about, can you target guests who have not yet responded?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you do that.
I can see that being pretty darn valuable.
Right. You want to give them a kick in the behind, get them get them. So all guests on my guest list, just newly added, and you can email those from here who said who've not yet replied.
Oh, wonderful.
Right. So great. So with that, I was kind of starting to talk a little bit about how you actually send folks the URL. Obviously, our communication tools is one route, but there's also several other routes as well. I know a lot of your audience will have a wedding website. I know everyone's going to be familiar with the Knot, so I went ahead and created what I believe to be a very ugly wedding website on the Knot, but I figured might as well use one of the ones that's most popular to kind of show you guys how folks can be sent to your event from places like the Knot. One thing I want to mention is we do have the ability to actually, on some sites, if you use a Squarespace or Weebly or Wix, excuse me, some of the e-commerce sites, you actually can embed your RSVP form directly into those sites. We actually will give you HTML code to do that. For those of you who are a little more adventurous or tech savvy, you actually can just copy this. It's really just copy and pasting, although it looks a little scary for folks. And you can actually paste this into some of those other websites and have folks who can actually RSVP using RSVPify, but directly on the wedding websites. Now, for other sites like the Knot, they don't allow for third-party code. But what you can easily do is just add a link. I didn't make this look good. Obviously, it didn't stand out as well as it could. But someone who's making a real wedding website obviously would. And basically, you send your guests here on your invitations if you didn't want to send them directly to us first. And they would basically RSVP, and this would bring them into your custom form, which I've kind of pre-designed this one for Sarah and Ari. Ari's actually, you can see by 2013, Ari's actually our founder and CEO.
Oh, that was awesome.
He built this for his wedding, although it did not look this good when he used it, much to the dismay of his bride. So for instance, if I tried to RSVP for this event, you're going to find out that I'm actually not going to be able to do that. Well, actually, that's not true because I use my parents as an example in the guest list, so it'll actually let me ask me about that. So let's say I use Remillard. you're actually going to find out that your guests, if you want to have your guest list to be exclusive, it's an option in the platform to restrict guests that can reply to your event to only those who are on your guest list. It kind of gives you a little more privacy and protects your event to the extent that you'd like that. But you can also open it up if you would like that as well. Sometimes there will be a little bit of issues if your guests misspelled their name, or if you misspelled their name on the guest list, they'll see this error. But this does provide a nice security feature.
Nice. And, you know, I know the Knot, Wedding Wire, and a lot of the sites out there, both free and paid sites, they have some digital RSVP tools, but they are so limiting that, and I love that yours just plugs right into those free websites.
Oh, those aren't, yeah, I would even call them
so
RSVP tools. Yeah, it's basically like, hi, type your name in and push yes or no. And that's obviously a lot to put to risk for a wedding. And I would say about 15 to 20% of our business comes probably combined from the Knot and Wedding Wire customers or users. So here I've kind of typed your name in here. And so the way this is going to work is the system's going to check and see if they can find someone with his exact name on the guest list. And if so, they're going to recognize that and bring it here. We gave you a +1. This is before we knew Peter's name. And it's going to invite you to start the RSVP process. Oh, and here's that custom welcome message that's personalized for you, specifically for this. So this message is for you, Shonda, and for no one else. So this could have been a really much nicer, more personal message, but I figured this was a nice welcome for all the wedding planning club members to kind of demo this kind of cool personalized message.
Awesome.
And then your guest will proceed to the RSVP. You'll notice here that it actually pre-populates the names of your guests. They don't have to rewrite them. Now, when you're going to accept, it's going to ask you some questions. These are some of the questions that I had put into the platform themselves. You know, do you have any dietary restrictions? Oh, it says leave blank. I got to follow my own instructions. Here are some of the appetizer preferences that we kind of filled out in that section. Will you bring a guest? If you are bringing a guest, it'll ask for their information.
Oh, that's nice.
Right.
This is saving so many follow-up phone calls. I mean,
it's a very, very powerful tool. And it's literally been created with over 10,000 support tickets and feature requests from users over the years.
Wow.
So it really covers everything soup to nuts. I'm going to say no to save me from having to type in someone's name. And then here you go to the third step of the process, where you're going to be asking custom questions that might apply to the entire party, as opposed to the unique individual. So somewhere like, what hotel are you going to be staying at? Are you needing a ride? Sure, I'll take a ride. I'm staying at the Excalibur. No, I'm doing an Airbnb. And this gives your guests a chance to send you a little personal note too. It's also nice for those who actually can't make it to be able to give a little reason. Just
to clarify before we move on, is this just me RSVPing to the wedding itself? Have we gotten into any secondary events in this particular RSVP, or is this just for the wedding?
So I'm not sure if I don't believe we did, but I'll set those up, our demo.
Oh, that's right, because it's so seamless because they're specific to that.
Right, and so I actually, if you remember, when I set you up on the guest list, I actually didn't invite you to the rehearsal dinner.
That's right, yeah.
So if we go back and do that real quick, I can do it from the secondary event actually. You can do it from the guest list or a secondary event. Here it's nice if you have lots of folks and you know their names, you can do it really easily. I'm gonna go ahead and just, I guess I'll give you the +1 as well to go to the rehearsal dinner. So that's automatically saves. So now if I were to come back, and let's see here. I've lost which tab we're on. Nope. Here we go. We're doing this over again. Sorry, everyone. Bear with me.
No, I appreciate this example so we can see how easy it is to make changes and exactly how it shows up in the process.
You see your welcome message. And you'll see here everything's the same, except when you accept, it's actually going to ask you to RSVP for the rehearsal dinner here, whereas before it only asked you about your entree preferences and the allergies. But here, it actually brings this because the system knows that this is Shonda and you've said she's got to come to rehearsal.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks for that example.
Sure. It's one of the best features we have. And
I agree.
I forgot to put you on there.
It seems like so many weddings, they have so many events. There's, the rehearsal, sometimes a breakfast the day of, the brunch the day after.
Right. There's welcome drinks.
Other activities. And
right. And the secondary events too can be used for the entire guest list too. If you're having a welcome event and you don't have to restrict it, you can just add another event. I'm going to an event in Canada. They're having a cornhole tournament on Saturday and everyone's invited. And they use the form for that. So here we talked earlier about these are the party level custom questions. We can't wait.
And is there a limit to the questions? Can we ask more?
There's unlimited custom questions for paid plans.
Nice.
On any of the paid tiers. So here's a confirmation page. Obviously, I did not customize this what I should. You can actually put a nice little custom message. I didn't do that. Just should have done.
And this is where we could put the picture of us in 3rd grade or something like that?
Yeah, picture of you together, another cute picture of the couple. You can put a link over here to the registry. Actually, why don't I go ahead and just kind of show everyone the customization of the actual confirmation page, because I obviously did not do a very good job of that.
I kind of like you doing it on the fly so we could see it both ways. Right.
So here's the actual message confirmation page, and you have lots of power here as well. I've actually already given a link to your registry. You can add links to, here's another link for hotel information, or here's a link to a lot of various other things, or links with directions to various pieces of this. I chose a registry. You can have folks bookmark this page so they can go back and get the details. If you wanted to, you can actually let guests see who else has accepted the RSVP.
Awesome.
And then this was a great feature too, is allowing people to add a calendar time for the actual events. So you can set the event, make sure you set the right time zone, and this will dynamically update to wherever in the world someone's RSVPing to their specific calendar.
And will that do that for multiple events?
It will, yes. So you'll be all set there. And if you want, you can actually have a unique confirmation page for folks who said they can't make it, as opposed to having, like, we can't wait to see you, which wouldn't make really sense for somebody who said they're not going to make it and they're devastated.
Oh, I love that.
Right. So you can actually say, don't worry, we still love you.
Yeah.
So you have that as well. Let's say.
And that would only trigger if they couldn't come to the main event, right?
Well, I don't know if you recall, I actually had set up in the secondary events, I had actually chosen the option to only show this if they've accepted the primary event.
Okay.
So if you wanted to make this separate, you could. But the confirmation page is linked to the primary accept and decline question.
Perfect. Okay.
Right. So while I'm here, I might as well we'll kind of show out the secondary event feature. I might as well make a new one here. We'll just call it Sunday Brunch. And here you can decide, are you going to actually make this, invite guests individually or all of them? Most brunches are pretty open. You can make the guest reply optional if you want, or you can require them. If you wanted to limit the size of the event, so like say you only had capacity for, 25 people at the brunch and it's first come, first serve, you can do that way. And when that had filled up, you can actually hide it. Or send them a custom message like, oh no, we're full, but we're trying to find more space. We'll let you know. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. And so, so that's just kind of an overview of the secondary events. And then going back to the confirmation page, if you wanted to see what that would look like, I didn't actually include a note, but I should have. That would actually change what your guests will see once they've finished. So now this will have a calendar widget. Let's see if it'll actually allow me to do it. Am I making the RSVP again? Oh, there it is. So I can save the calendar, Outlook, iCal, Google Calendar. I can take you to your registry. You can do all kinds of things here with this. And I didn't include any text or custom message or images, but you guys definitely should. It again makes it more personal, and it makes it look a lot better as well. So again, this took me, in terms of setting up, this took me no more than 15 minutes. I did it right before our call. I did a lot of this on the fly, obviously. But it's a very, very powerful product. It's really kind of like you get to make of it what you want. But in terms of actually like a soup to nuts guest list management solution, it's really second to none on the market.
Yeah, I have to say I was impressed the first time you and I spoke, and now that I've gotten this tour, I'm doubly impressed. Everything I've said, can you do this? Will it do that? You've said yes to. So, yeah.
Well, we've had over 200,000 weddings use this free and paid, and lots of brides have lots of very, very strong requests and strong opinions, as you can imagine.
One way to dial in on what your customers need.
Exactly. And so we've built our product roadmap basically specific with feedback from users. And it also helps the founder himself had this vision for his wedding. That's how he got his start.
You know, a lot of the best wedding tools and businesses out there got started because they needed it for their own wedding. And I love seeing this example.
Absolutely. And then, I just wanted I can quickly show, I mentioned earlier about the ability to embed the RSVP form if you wanted to. This is actually a custom site that someone had built. So this is actually a pretty nice one. But you could actually send folks to your specific website. And this is actually powered by us. This is our form. You'll recognize this here. And your guests will never have to actually leave your wedding website. And you'll be able to use the power of our product right on there. So I just wanted to show an example of what that can look like.
Okay, wonderful. Either way, whether it's a link or it's embed form, it's so seamless for the end user, for your guest.
Yeah, that's what matters most, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Awesome.
So great.
Was there anything else you wanted to show us before we sign off?
That's pretty much it on my list. I could be missing a few things. We have a ton of samples on our website of some inspiration of how you guys can set your events up. Just go and check it out. Create a free event. It's free to sign up. Just need an email. You can even log in via Facebook and Google. You and I can talk about a special coupon code for wedding planning club members if they decide to upgrade.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, and we'd love user feedback. We have a really active support staff that can respond to your inquiries very, very quickly, and they're happy to do so. We also have a very extensive searchable support library with common asked questions, as well as video tutorials of folks who need some additional help figuring out how to do the guest list or need some help with the import process. We have all that kind of taken care of for there as well. So if you need us, we're here, but we've also kind of set up some support tools for you as well.
That's wonderful. Well, I sure appreciate you taking the time and walking us through this quite extensively, really. So that was so helpful. And I love that you have so much support available, because I know once we get in there and it's like, wait, we want to do this. Where was this?
Right.
It's nice to know those tools, the videos. You got your support group is all there at our fingertips as we need it.
Oh, and I did forget something.
Okay.
One of the things, and it's one of our favorite features, is after the actual event's been, I shouldn't say planned, but folks have actually gone ahead and RSVP'd, there is the dreaded table arrangement process. And we actually have—
Oh, you're kidding. You guys have a tool for that too?
We do.
Oh, wow.
And so this one's actually already kind of been made already. This is an existing account of one of our past users. But this is actually the accepted guest list of everyone who's actually accepted. And you can basically figure out who's going to which table. Get your college friends. You can rename all these. All of these can be exported to spreadsheet and PDF. So you can hand that right to the event planner, whoever it might need to be, event coordinator, as well as with their meal preferences. So this is all taken care of.
Oh my gosh. And I just saw how easy it was to just drag and drop, and you could just keep dragging and dropping and wiggling things around until you have your seating chart.
Right. Like Carl's not friends with Diane anymore. We'll bring her over here. So it's really a seamless process.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then just so you know, this is also available on our iOS app. It's just as seamless there as a drag and drop as you'd imagine with an Apple device. If you're using us free or paid, download the application, because it's really nice to have in your pocket. It's also really nice just to get a notification when one of your guests RSVPs. You can open it up, see if they're coming. And then when you're actually time and ready to get the table set up, you can use the app to do that. And that, of course, will sync with your account. So if you set your tables on your phone or vice versa, it'll sync across devices for you.
That's wonderful.
Cool.
Very
Sorry for that
cool.
last tidbit there, but
No, man, I'm glad you took the time to add that in. That's a great tool.
yeah, this was a lot of work, so it would have been pretty silly if I forgot to bring this up.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, are there any other questions you have, or anything else?
I don't think so. I think you did a great job of covering everything I can think of. Let me look at the questions real quick. We had talked previously about how to let guests know about hotel information, and now that you've shown me this, I can think of several places to include that. Would the confirmation page be the most?
Confirmation page is probably the most common.
Okay.
And that would be kind of in the text that I neglected to actually add to ours. Often people actually will include that information in the communications that go to the guests. So if you want to actually personalize, so when folks are actually, when they submit their RSVP, they will actually receive this email with the details of them, what they've chosen, what they're coming. But then you could also add lots of information about the venue or hotel.
And that'd be a place we could put a link to that confirmation page too, right? To get all the information.
Absolutely, and you can have them bookmark that so they can get it later as well.
Or even a link back to their wedding website, or
whatever.
There's so many different ways to use this. I love it.
Right. And again, on the confirmation page, you can also redirect folks by just putting in, the not site.
Oh yeah, that's right. Check out the wedding website.
And you can just send them back, and that'll just add on the right-hand side of that toolbar as well.
Right. And you might have mentioned this, it might seem obvious, I just want to point it out that, if someone's not using a wedding website, they can use this link directly on their paper invitations.
Absolutely, and people do it all the time.
And that way guests can just go straight there. And, this really provides all the same information a wedding website does, just in a different presentation, really. So
it really does, and folks actually use it as a wedding website. We didn't set up to be a standalone site, but folks now, within the actual welcome text on the form design, they will actually upload their wedding invitation and all the information that you'll need, the story of how we met, etc., all above here.
Yeah, I could see that.
All that will do in a really nice format will actually just replace that image of Ari and Sarah in Chicago, and it'll kind of be your wedding website there. So
so you could take it as simple as you want or as extravagant as you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, great.
Thanks.
Well, if you don't have any other questions, I'm gonna jet. But
thank you so much.
It may have been a little too in depth of what everyone was looking for.
Well, I certainly enjoyed it, so it was worth it for me. And I will put the link down below this video, as well as the special Wedding Planning Club code, so don't miss out on that. Travis, once again, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy day to be with us and really walk us through this. I think it is just so helpful. Really.
Absolutely. Well, let us know if you have any questions. If there's, by chance, and I'm sure there is, a question we did not cover, the answer is yes, it does work, but the question is how. We'd be happy to help you figure that out. So.
Awesome. Well, you have a great day. Thanks again.
You do the same. All right. Bye now.
Bye.